Urgency is very high every week from here on out. This is a must-win game. We got to go out and put on a show, get a win at home.
A leaping catch and a touchdown. Flying up the middle of the field. Big time hit. He's putting on a show. Burrow going to be got him. It's for the touchdown.
Still everything in front of us, but we just got to find ways to win.
It's on to the next as Cincinnati welcomes in a Las Vegas team that brings back thrilling memories to the jungle. Welcome in to Bengals Weekly. I'm Marisa Contipelli. The Bengals look to get back in the win column against a struggling Raiders team, as Zac Taylor's squad still has everything in front of them at the halfway point of the season. So as we get you set for this Week 9 matchup, we go behind the stripes with Cam Taylor-Britt and tell you why he changed his last name when he was at Nebraska. ESPN's Dan Orlovsky joins the show to preview Bengals versus Raiders. And on Countdown, I'll tell you what Trey Hendrickson accomplished that hadn't been done by a Bengal since 2009. But first, we couldn't decide who to mic up in Week 8, Ja'Marr Chase or Chase Brown. Well, since our productions team couldn't come to an agreement, we decided to put a mic on them both. Here's this week's Chase and Chase mic'd up.
Hey, hot mic, all right? I'm fast today. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh, let's do it. Oh, yeah, every play. Yep.
With Andre on it, yeah. For Prezi. Dre for Prezi.
You and Sydney are going to be at the coin toss today.
At the coin toss? Okay.
Yeah, Sydney is too.
That's pretty cool. Okay. Appreciate you.
Hey, you appreciate yourself and everything you do today.
Yeah.
Let the hands talk today. Mind the aggressor. Don't wait this.
Execution most important. Hey, here we go. Back to 3. 1, 2, 3. Back. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Yeah. Come on, let's go. Who's talking? Yeah, how you doing? Let's go, bro. Who's talking? You're talking?
And in Chase Brown's case, he will be greeted by his identical twin brother.
What's up? Long time no see, man. Let's go. Go do your thing, though. All right. Let's do it. All right, good luck, bro. Yeah. Woo! Ah!
Out. Burrow back to throw. Quick pass. Chase with the catch. He's got the first down into Philadelphia territory. Burrow catches, drops back to throw, begins rolling to the right. He's at the 12-yard line, throws into the end zone, and a touchdown!
I knew that was cool. Right here, man. Run that bitch like how you do, my boy.
Burrow hands it to Chase Brown, flying up the middle of the field, touchdown!
Come on, man! Let's go, baby! Hey, can I get that ball? Can I get that ball? Hey, where you at? Mom! Alright. I try to get to my mom, bro. I can see her. Yeah. Yeah, I want to give that to my mom, but I couldn't find her over there. Hopefully that's not a fine. Said hopefully that's not a fine.
You and Jamar both did it.
Oh, he did it too?
Did you just run the end zone like normal?
No. Good, bro. Good cut on the fucking backside, dog.
I said, can he just run in the end zone like normal and make it look cool instead of just like tripping and on?
No, bro, that. I could have, but I'm like, nope. You're not hitting me. Dog. You good? Yeah. Let's get this jersey stuff on. No, let's get the jersey. Give me that jersey.
Give me the picture inside.
Yeah, do your thing. Go get change everything.
I'll see you in a minute, yeah?
Well, coming up next, we go behind the stripes with CTV as the corner shares his story of his last name. Stay with us here on Bengals Weekly. Bengals Weekly is brought to you by Kettering Health, the official healthcare provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. And Paycor, proud to be the official HR software provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. Welcome back to Bengals Weekly. Cam Taylor-Britt is proud to be from Montgomery, Alabama. The third-year corner has made a name for himself here in Cincinnati. But before he made it to the pros, he paid homage to an important person in his life during his time at Nebraska. Here's a portion of our From the Jungle special, Juice, the Cam Taylor-Britt story.
At defensive back from Nebraska, number 29, Cam Taylor-Britt.
I never had any aspiration of being a doctor, firefighter, policeman. I remember during class in elementary, we used to write on our papers, what do you want to be when you grow up? If I could find some of those sheets, all my papers said NFL player. I knew always football was the one.
Daryl coming into this family has been an absolute blessing. They have a father. They have a biological father. And he was involved, in the beginning, and things just, kind of went left. Life happened. And Daryl stepped in, and the boys actually started calling him Dad, not long after we started dating. They were that comfortable. And so I had to ask him, I said, are you okay with this? Because this is a lot. You're coming into this, I've got 3 kids here. And he was like, I'm just happy. I'm so happy they're my kids.
When he came into the picture, he just, gave us a whole new light, someone that we can look up to in the household. I was always the man of the house, being the oldest and just right there with my mom. But when he came to the house, he just opened up our eyes to different things, mom, she couldn't, show us, as a single mom, 3 kids.
So basically, Daryl and I used to take rides for, really, he just showed me the way of life that I didn't want to be. Of course, football was my everything, and he wanted me to stay focused on that, so he took me around to neighborhoods where it wasn't so good. Buildings were torn down, but those were real people's homes. You had drug addicts, yes, you had alcoholics, this and that, and that's something that I didn't want to be, so seeing that kind of just changed my perspective on who I was hanging around and, basically what I wanted to do with myself and be in life and what I could do for others.
Being from here and a lot of athletes that are good enough to get to that NFL level but never did. So I just knew with him, he had the talent, and I just wanted to show him, don't fall to the ways of how it is around here sometimes. We rode around, showed him all the hood, ghetto spots, and let him see people. Yeah, he was in high school. He was the #1 guy in the state or whatever, but now he's hanging outside the liquor store all the time. It was just part of the growth and development for him.
I was 12, 13 years old, and he was just speaking to me as like I was a grown man, and there was no sugarcoating it. He wanted me to see it as real as day.
So Cameron decided to legally change his last name, and he approached me. He said, hey, I've got this idea. I want to run it, by you. Let's talk about it. He said, well, I don't want to tell Daryl. And he said, well, he's been such an integral part in my life. I want to add his last name to mine. And I said, oh my gosh, Cameron, I think that would be amazing.
He's a father figure that I didn't have. Simple as that. He showed me a lot though. I wouldn't have been here. When my pops, my biological father wasn't, holding his standard and what he used to try to teach us about being a man and this and that. He didn't hold up his end, and I was there to see it all. And Daryl came in, and I know he swept my mom off her feet, but he swept us off our feet too. And that's why I added the last name. It was a little crazy to me. I've always seen just Taylor on my jersey. I played football so many years before that. To see a different last name on my jersey, just be representing, Daryl I went crazy that game.
Gets hit, ball's loose at the goal line, picked up,
Cam Taylor came from the corner blitz and blew him up from the backside.
Picked off by Cam
Taylor.
Go, baby. Cam Taylor stepping in there, picking off the pass near the goal line.
When he put that on his jersey, that was probably one of his best games he ever played in college. Sophomore year, first game of the year.
And he balled out.
And he balled out. I was speechless, proud at the same time, and just full of emotion.
To watch the full feature, visit youtube.com/Bengals. When we return, we check in with ESPN's Dan Orlovsky, who tells us why he loves watching Joe Burrow at quarterback. Game preview is up next, here on Bengals Weekly. Welcome back to Bengals Weekly. The Bengals welcome in the Raiders to the jungle for the first time since that thrilling wildcard win in 2021. Joe Burrow put a stamp on the league that season and has been one of the game's best ever since. ESPN's Dan Orlovsky enjoys breaking down Burrow's film. And now the broadcaster joins Dan Horde to give us his take on Burrow and to preview Sunday's tilt against Las Vegas.
ESPN's Dan Orlovsky is our guest. Your tape breakdowns are as good as it gets. And when you focus on Joe Burrow, at times I feel like I almost hear awe in your voice. Is that accurate? And if so, why?
That's accurate. And why is because what he does on a play-by-play or consistent basis. You know, I know that I was in that league for a dozen years. There's times when I watch a player like Joe and I'm like, there's no way I was in the same league.
Dan, for 3 straight weeks, the Bengals scored 33 or more points. And then over the last 3 weeks, the offense has only scored 2 touchdowns in each of those games. What would you like to see the Bengals do differently on that side of the ball?
Yeah, I actually like some of the scheme stuff that they've really deployed, I would say, over the last 5 or 6 weeks. I think the balance and the complete element of their offense has grown a lot, certainly since the beginning of the season and very much so of last year. And so I think a lot of the scheme stuff that they're doing, I enjoy. I like their RPO stuff. I like their ability to run the football from under center, maybe create some more big and explosive runs, but hard to do. I like their play action game, both under and from the gun, when they like to get Joe on the move. And so I think there's a lot of stuff in their offense that schematically, I like some of the additions.
The Raiders come to town this week with 2 wins. One of them was over the Ravens in Baltimore. What must the Bengals do to be successful at home this Sunday?
Number 1, stop Brock Bowers. There's moments where they'll try to throw him the ball 4, 5, 6 times in a row. They don't sugarcoat it with the Raiders. They're trying to get in the football. 2 good receivers in Jacoby Myers and Tucker. So, you got to manage those guys. They're good players, but Brock Bowers is the foundational kind of playmaker piece of their offense. The opposite side, it's very clear. You got to handle Max Crosby every single play. Max can literally ruin the game. I mean, if anybody in your guys' division wants to find out how, go watch what he did against the Ravens this year. He won the football game for them. So the Raiders sneaky, have a solid defense, a good defense. This isn't going to be an easy task for their offense. You got to, on every single play, have multiple bodies or no one blocking Max Crosby. I don't think you try to block him one-on-one. In moments when you don't block him, you're putting him in conflict with an RPO or something like that. Other than that, it's 4 hands and 2 sets of hands on him every time.
Dan, we appreciate your time, and let the record show that in 2001, I was behind the mic when an 18-year-old freshman named Dan Orlovsky came into Nippert Stadium and threw for 383 yards and 3 touchdowns against the UC Bearcats. So I have seen you perform at the quarterback position.
I was a freshman. I think we lost, and while I may have been played well, my bet is Gino played better.
Appreciate the time. Keep up the great work.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
This fall, the Bengals have teamed up with Ohio Cat to bring the jungle to you. Every Friday during the high school football season, we will be out at a different high school football game, cheering on our local teams. Last month, Houday and the Bengals were out at Miamisburg High School as the Vikings hosted the Centerville Elks. Students and fans had the opportunity to take pictures with Houday, show off their best school spirit, and win great prizes. Rule your school. And be on the lookout for Friday Night Stripes, because the Bengals and Ohio Cat could be coming to your game next. Who Dey Nation, it's time to recognize our high school coaches. Nominate your coach for the Bengals Coach of the Week presented by Paycor. Visit Bengals.com/Coach of the Week for more information. Coming up next, it's Contipelli's Countdown, where I'll tell you what Jamar Chase leads the league in. Stay with us here on Bengals Weekly. Bengals Weekly is brought to you by your local Kia dealers. Visit kia.com to discover movement that inspires. And AltaFiber, the official Wi-Fi and internet provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. 9 games remain for 9 and the Bengals as the team takes aim at a playoff push in the second half. And as history has shown, Joe Burrow plays his best when the team needs him most, as Joe Burrow seems to heat up when the weather cools down. Over the last 3 seasons, not many have been better than Burrow when it matters most. Burrow holds a 14-5 record from November on, trailing only Patrick Mahomes for best win-loss mark in the league in that span. Since 2021, Burrow ranks either first or second in completion percentage, passing yards per game, passing yards per attempt, and passer rating in the final months of the season. Well, Jamar Chase caught his NFL-high 7th touchdown pass of the season last week as he continues to lead the league in receiving yards. Chase is one of 8 players in league history to begin his career with 3 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons. And Uno is on his way to exceed that mark again, as he is on pace to reach 1,400 receiving yards. And earlier this season, Chase joined 4 Hall of Famers as the only players to hit 600 or more receiving yards and 6 or more receiving touchdowns in their team's first 7 games of a season 3 or more times in their careers. But Chase, well, he's the only one on that list to do it 3 times in his first 4 seasons. Sunday marks the first meeting against the Raiders since the Bengals' first playoff win during the 2021 season. That game was of course sealed when Jermaine Pratt picked off Derek Carr at the goal line with 17 seconds remaining. In 2 games against Vegas, Burrow has logged a 102 passer rating, nearly 400 passing yards, and 3 touchdowns, as Cincinnati has won 5 of the last 6 meetings against the Raiders and 6 of the last 7 at Paycor Stadium. And this week will feature 2 of the league's best edge rushers, as Trey Hendrickson and Max Crosby meet head-to-head for the first time since the 2021 season. Crosby brings in 6.5 sacks on the year, but his 11.1 pressure rate this season is his lowest since 2020. In Week 7, Hendrickson became the 6th player in Bengals history to record 2 or more sacks in consecutive games and the first to do it since 2009. Hendrickson brings in 7 sacks to Week 9, 3rd most in the AFC, as his 15 QB hits is 3rd most across the league. And the Raiders enter Week 9 on a 4-game losing streak. It's the first time they have lost 4 straight since 2019. Vegas has an NFL-high 17 giveaways on the year and have had at least 1 giveaway in every game this season. They also have 4 games with 3 or more turnovers. Through 8 games, Vegas is one of 3 teams scoring fewer than 20 points per game, while their defense is allowing over 25 an outing. Contipelli's Countdown is brought to you by your local Kia dealers. Discover what happens when rugged capability meets true performance. To learn more, visit kia.com. Kia, movement that inspires. It's now time for this week's Kettering Health Fantasy Report. Jamar Chase posted over 20 fantasy points in Week 8 after hauling in 9 catches for 54 yards and a touchdown against the Eagles. Chase currently stands as the #1 fantasy receiver, averaging nearly 20 points per game. On National Tight Ends Day, Mike Gesicki had his best outing since Week 2, catching 7 of 8 targets for 73 yards, good for over 12 points on the afternoon. And for the Raiders, Brock Bowers enters as the 2nd-ranked fantasy tight end, averaging 14 points per game. In Week 8, Bowers posted his lowest output since Week 4, tallying 10.8 points on 5 receptions for 58 yards in the loss to KC. Thanks for tuning in to Bengals Weekly. Our Salute to Service game presented by Fiesel Roofing against the Raiders is coming up. For Dan Horde and our entire crew, I'm Marisa Contipelli. We'll see you next week. Bengals Weekly was brought to you by Paycor, proud to be the official HR software provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. AltaFiber, the official Wi-Fi and internet provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. And Kettering Health, the official healthcare provider of the Cincinnati Bengals.